Hello friends, welcome back to Sony Mind. When other people are acting irrationally irate, do not reason with them. You've probably seen this type of situation. A random person walking along the street, yelling random things in a manner that makes other people afraid, whining that other people are wrong and they are right. What do you do when you see such a situation? Ignore them, just walk away, right? Because if you reason with them, you're asking trouble for yourself. When people are irrationally irate, such instances involve being irrational. There is no reason in their irateness. If you try to reason with such people in such cases, thinking that you have been violated, then the other person, being in a state of irrational aggression, most likely will definitely not bow down to you. Even worse, they could be provoked into severely harming you because they are already in an irrationally aggressive state. During this unusually tough period of COVID-19, such incidences are definitely on the rise. For example, someone was unhappy at a COVID restriction and even ended up shooting the store teller. Therefore, when people are irrationally irate, they tend to not think rationally and in certain extreme cases can engage in acts of extreme violence. On the other hand, you should also have no obligation to bow down to the demands of irrationally irate people when they are acting such, because they are in a state of being irrational instead of asking for legitimate favor for oneself. Therefore, irrationally irate means irrationally irate. When you see such people, 1. Don't reason with them, just walk away. And 2. You do not need to give them special favor in attempts to appease them. However, there are 2 important things to point out that are not considered irrationally irate. 1. Sometimes people are irate for a specific legitimate reason, seeking for a specific way to solve. For example, I used to work at a large department store, and one time a customer came in with a leaking hose and appeared to be very irate. However, reading from his tone of voice, facial expression, and nuanced use of word, he is simply unhappy of the product being defective and wants a solution, instead of simply being irrationally aggressive. Therefore, I happily exchanged it for him and gave him an in-store credit. A second case that is not considered irrationally irate is that in some cultures, when people talk about certain things, they tend to talk in a very seemingly aggressive and argument-like tone. That is also not being irrationally irate. That could either simply be their way of communication and or being a culturally normal way in their culture of expressing rage, yet not necessarily being an indication of being violent and or being ultra hostile to you personally. I hope that by simply ignoring others when they are irrationally irate, so that you don't reason with them and don't bow down to their irrational demands, you can avoid yourself lots of trouble. Thank you.